Shall he find faith when he returns? The book of Luke 18 verse 8 tells us that, or asks us, when the Son of Man returns, shall he find faith in the earth? Faith, a word thrown around so often, but meaning so profound that many lose sight of its relevance. This morning I pondered on the Israelites' journey as they left Egypt for the promised land. Of all the adults who left Egypt, only 2 made it to the promised land. The others were disqualified right at the brink of the promised land, looking at the promise and yet not getting it because of unbelief. I realized that God is not bound by the concept of time as much as we are. To you, you care about how quickly that miracle comes. But for God, He is more interested in how firm is your faith to wait for it. Whether you spend 40 days in your wilderness or 40 years in it, it doesn't change the character of God. For Him, it is more important that your faith is firm. That whether He answers you in 40 days or in 40 years, you will still believe. And as simple as this sounds, it is very difficult. Many times we go through things that we depend on God for a miracle. And sometimes it comes quickly, while at other times it seems that the wait is long. No matter how long it takes, when God comes through, ready to move, will He find you still in faith regarding that promise? Having faith when you have prayed relentlessly for a long time over the same issue with no positive results. Maybe you have even gone through cycles where it had looked like things were about to get better, and then everything turns futile, and that had happened several times. Looking for a job, getting to the final interview, everything looking promising, and then boom, they say nothing, they don't reach out, and you start the process all over again, and you've had this cycle repeatedly. Trusting the God for a baby, even your period comes late and you are already excited, maybe I'm pregnant already, and then nothing happens. Trusting God for a spouse, it seems that so many brothers or even one particular brother is interested in you, and you're very optimistic that okay, he's going to say something, and the next thing you find out is announcing his engagement to another sister, and you're asking what went wrong. trusting God for the healing of a child or a loved one, praying with all your heart, God, please just heal this one. And then it looks like the person is getting better and you're already rejoicing. God, thank you. She's recovering. And boom, the loved one passes. Oh, but will you still stand in faith? Our experiences do not invalidate the integrity or the ability of God. Your experiences cannot invalidate the integrity or the ability of God. Everything that you are going through, He allowed it because of a greater purpose. A purpose you may not be able to comprehend right now, but He sees the end from the beginning. You remember when God told Moses to speak to the rock and he struck the rock. Now he had struck the rock the first time and water came forth. But this second time he said speak to the rock, but Moses struck the rock again. And because of that, he was denied access to the promised land. This is because the rock signified Christ. And according to the salvation plan of God, Jesus was going to come, die, and be raised back to life. By Him being struck, we would receive the water of life. But the second time, He was coming back to give life at the word of God. He was not going to be struck a second time. It was just going to be an order from the Father that the time is now. And this rock experience in the wilderness was a picture of what was to come. Now, Moses struck the rock the first time, and it was beautiful. Water came out, and wonderful son, obedient son. But the second time he was to speak to the rock, he struck the rock, which was not in line with God's redemption purpose. God was not going to strike that rock 2 times. And because he did something that was not aligned with God's purpose, he was judged instantly. That you know what, you will see the promised land, but you're not stepping into it. He received that earthly judgment as a substitution for an heavenly judgment. What am I driving at? If anything was to happen to you that does not align with God's purpose, you can trust Him to pass instant judgment. You can trust Him to turn it around immediately. Because if He allowed it, it's because it is still working into His plan. He will not allow any man, He would not allow any power, He would not allow any decree that will work against His big plan for your life. Know this and know peace. When the Son of Man returns, when God arises to step into your case, shall he find faith in you? God bless you.